want to call that, taking care of business or exceeding expectations. What did you take away from that game?
I saw it as another week of this offense being able to produce at a high level. It showed that Ethan Killicamakis, my
I like
apologies,
Manis, yeah.
has been playing out of his mind throughout these first three games, averaging over 270 yards through the air, being very, very consistent in the passing game, being able to be very efficient as well, having really good completion percentage in all three games. I think he only missed four passes against Ohio. And 8 passes against
Yeah,
Miami of Ohio, and then yesterday,
yeah, 8 against.
Saturday, he completed 72% of his passes. So it shows that the Rutgers team, especially at quarterback, is looking very, very strong to start the year, and there's a lot of confidence. KJ Duff as well, his first
Yeah,
ever 100-yard receiving game. He was able to have 6 receptions for 116 yards, and that connection between Ethan and KJ is going to be major,
yeah,
especially come Big Ten play, because out of all the receivers that Rutgers have, whether it's DT Sheffield, who's able to open up the field with his speed, or Ian Strong, who's currently dealing with injury, but when he comes back, he's a very consistent pass catcher and he runs his routes really well. KJ Duff is going to be that guy that's going to be the red zone threat against teams such as in Iowa that doesn't really give up a lot of red zone touchdown opportunities. They were able to really stay within that game between Iowa State because they completely shut them down in the passing game for the most part.
yeah.
Iowa State was able to take advantage a lot in the running game, but their passing game led by Rocco Beck was completely, I would say, contained for most of that game against Iowa. So KJ is going to be the type of receiver that's able to really be the final piece to that passing game puzzle that Rutgers have,
Yeah, 100%.
and seeing that he's already starting off the year well, being a leader in receiving yards currently for the team. This team offensively looks like they're ready for Big Ten play and look like they're able to make their I would say their statement in the Big Ten offensively, being able to not only being one of the leaders in the country on offense,
Yep.
they have as well has shown a very good special teams. They've been putting up a lot of points per game. 46.3 points per game so far,
Yeah.
second in the Big Ten, 332 yards per game, 17th in the Big Ten. Rushing, they've been really good, top 15 in the Big Ten. Passing, third in the Big Ten. These are really good places to start off the year right now, knowing that the challenge is going to get higher and the abilities of opposing defenses are going to increase as well. So offensively, I feel comfortable. Special
Good,
teams,
yeah.
special teams wise, I feel comfortable when
Special
it
teams
comes to
is
the
exceeding
for
expectations.
the most part, you could arguably say special teams has been the best unit that Rutgers has put on the field so far this year. Whether it's Jai Patel breaking Rutgers' record for most consistent field goals made,
Still
this
ongoing, by the way.
this punt return unit already having three punt block return touchdowns on the season so far. Two of them being in the first quarter against Norfolk State. As that you can honestly say that unit has been very positive for this Rutgers team, and it's going to play major come those games down later on in the year, especially those two back-to-back games against Ohio State and Penn State, and they're going to play a huge difference in regards to how much field position they're able to flip and how much they're able to make out of opportunities when Ethan and the offense isn't on the field, because against teams like Iowa, a really good special team play can really open up and
Yeah.
change the momentum for those types of low scoring defensive grind out games.
I mean, it was the difference between going into the second quarter at a stalemate versus being up 13-0. And, you know, I just wanted to say, too, you were talking about the offense and how efficient they've been. Ethan Kaliakmanis has the highest PFF grade in all of college football so far, all of FBS college football so far, among quarterbacks with 50 or more dropbacks. And this offense against Norfolk State, I have it here courtesy of Rutgers on 3. The top graded football players, for us at least, against Norfolk State, your guy, Mashoud Giwa, who LIU transfer, 91.7 grade. Ethan Kaliak minus 90.5, and KJ Duff, who's had a phenomenal year, 81.8. And Austin, how you doing, my man? Unfortunately, Adam is fired from the show, and that's why it is just me and Donovan today. No more Adam. I'm just kidding. He's just out for personal reasons. He'll be back, and he's doing okay.
Yeah, we hoping to see Adam next week's show. Last week I wasn't here. You two were able to hold it down, so I'm happy to be able to show my weight and be able to hold my weight for the group for the show this time around. Hosting you today, Gabe, and yeah, Mashoud had a hell of a game. I'm so proud of him for what he was able to show on the field, especially those two back-to-back plays in the red zone. One of them leading to
directly resulted in
leading them into a touchdown. He completely mashed his. I think he was mashing down a 3-tech, and he made a B gap defender turn it into an opposite A gap defender, which is something that Mashoud has been really good at so far throughout his young career. He's been really good in the running game. His passing, his pass blocking has shown more and more prowess throughout the years as well. But he's been especially being at 6'6", over 300 pounds. Being able to move guys out of gaps, being able to show that physicality. I even heard during the commentary, during the play-by-play commentary, I think it was the color coordinator was talking about that's the type of guys that Greg Schiano looks for in an offensive lineman. Nasty, being able to just handle his business and move guys out the way for running backs like Antoine Wayman and Deshaun. So I'm actually Deshaun Benjamin. My apologies for the blank out right there. But Mashoud had a really good game, and hopefully we're going to see more of that throughout the season. I know currently he was in the game due to Ben Needham being taking out the game. So Tyron Needham. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see maybe this is an opportunity for Mashoud to have his first ever big test against Big Ten competition and show what he's made of and show the world why he was able to end up on this Greg Schiano team, especially against being able to do it at home instead of being on the road, being able to be in a situation where you're able to get comfortable into being a starter in these types of environments, because going on the road is a different type of beat, being around almost 50, 60,000, the crowd noise and all that, especially at tackle, which is one of the harder positions on the field, to not only hear when a play is going on, but their role on how a play is able to be effective or not is just as heightened as well. So it's a perfect opportunity for this team. Yeah. Especially on the offensive line, showing how this offensive line has been overall dominant throughout the first 3 games. Yeah. So it's a big test.
I mean, like, no matter who we have at left tackle, whether it is Mashoud Giwa, whether it's Tyler Needham, or unfortunately Dante Chin just went out for the year, but whether it was him too, this offensive line has been, outside of the special teams, it's really between them and Ethan for the other most impressive unit, whether it's the quarterback or the offensive line. And, you know, this is going to be a real challenge against Iowa, particularly because it's away. And, you know, it's been 3 weeks, you know, at the point that it's against Ohio or against Iowa, but since the Ohio game. But part of the reason we won that Ohio game is because we were at home. We don't get that punt block against Ohio if we're away, because we forced the penalty because of our crowd being so damn loud they couldn't hear each other, and so they executed the play wrong. And Coach Schiano even attributed that to part of the reason that we won that game, the 4th and 7 conversion and that play particularly. And, you know, Ohio, they're a formidable opponent, but if we're in Iowa, week 1, if we play how we played in week 1 against Iowa, we don't beat Iowa. They almost beat Iowa State, who is ranked, I believe, 16th, and Iowa just demolished UMass, whatever you want to make of that, 49-9.
Well, UMass, that game against UMass is kind of the same similarity of what Rutgers went up against in regards to Miami, Ohio, when it comes to just a team that's from a smaller group of 5 that just one is so much more dominant than the other. So I didn't really take a lot from that Iowa UMass game. I did primarily, if you're going to see the best that Iowa can offer on both the offensive end and the defensive end, Iowa State was that game for the most part, because they played against a defense that, for to be completely honest, is way more better than what they were last year in the Big 12, just at that. So this Iowa State team is a team once come playoff seeding time, they might be one of the final 12 teams, to be completely honest,
Possible.
especially as that Big 12 champion, because
Yeah.
they do look like that. And
Well,
for Iowa, they so far this year they have not won on the road. They're going to have to go on the road again against a loud crowd in Piscataway, New Jersey, especially as a prime time 8 p.m. game on Fox. At that, I truly see that being able to have 4 home games to start off the year, seeing that this defense, especially as well, was able to put a lot of pressure on Norfolk State,
oh
and
yeah,
they've been able to, I would say, improve more and more since that Ohio game week 1, where it completely looked the complete opposite of what we saw just this Saturday in regards to the defensive line not being able to put too much pressure on the quarterback, the secondary being able to get diced up left and right, the quarterback being able to get out of the pocket so effortlessly and not being able to be challenged when throwing the ball. You can really say, even though a lot of the odds makers are giving Iowa that favorited advantage going into this game in week 4, Rutgers has just as much of a say to show the world that this team might be somewhat legit. And this is the perfect opportunity against a team in Iowa that, for the most part, has been one of the better defenses in the Big Ten over the last couple of years.
yeah. I mean, look, the only thing I take away from Iowa UMass is that even though UMass is ranked like in the bottom 5 or 6 in the nation among FBS teams, they still allowed Iowa to score 47 points, and Iowa is probably a bottom 3, bottom 5 offense in the Big Ten. So that's what I take away from that, is that, like, they score 13 against Iowa State, but Iowa State, as we mentioned, is one of the best defenses in the nation. But Albany, again, bad opponent in comparison to Iowa, but they put up 34 points. They put up 47 against UMass. So their offense was awake for those games. They weren't winning 24-0. They weren't winning, even 21-0, but they were winning 47-7, 34-7. So that's what concerns me, is the fact that their offense, even against these lesser opponents, still looks awake. And scoring 13 against Iowa State, that's no guarantee. So when you look at Rutgers versus Iowa, are we going to give up 20-plus points to Iowa? Because that can't happen. Their defense is so good that I expect them to not shut out this offense, because, as I mentioned, we have the best passing offense in the nation with as many dropbacks as we do. But are we going to be able to score in the 20s? Hell, we might need in the 30s to beat them, given that their offense is awake. And that's sort of a key factor for me, is everyone looks at our offense versus their defense. But to me, the side of the ball that wins the game for us or loses the game for us is our defense against their offense, because their running back, who averages 7 yards per carry, is he going to be putting up 10 yards per carry against us? That's been our only weakness so far this year, is our rushing yards allowed. And the first 2 weeks, it was from the quarterback room. But against Norfolk State, it was, unfortunately, Kevon King, 7 attempts for 59 yards and a touchdown. Xavier Evans, 8 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Otto Kuhn's 5 attempts, 34 yards. You don't want to take away too many negatives against Norfolk State, but that's the one weakness that has persisted all year long, is our rushing defense.